Welcome back to Echoville. Today we step into one of the most unsettling mysteries of our time, the story of Elisa Lam and the infamous hotel that became the backdrop to her final days. Picture this: Los Angeles at night, the city glowing with neon lights, alive with movement and energy, yet hiding countless secrets in its shadows. Among the glowing skyline stands an aging giant, the Cecil Hotel. At first glance, it looks like just another building, but as the fog rolls through the streets, the neon sign flickers with an eerie pulse, hinting at the darkness inside. As we move closer, the cracked walls and dim yellow lights around the hotel entrance reveal its faded glory. Once a glamorous destination, it has long since decayed into something sinister. Guests have come and gone for decades, and so have the countless stories, crime, tragedy, and whispers of something far darker. Tonight, it's not just a building we're entering, but a chapter of history that seems almost cursed. Stepping inside, the lobby feels frozen in time. The vintage furniture sits in silence, worn and tired, as if holding onto secrets from the past. The chandeliers glow weakly, unable to fight back the heavy shadows that stretch across the room. It's here that you begin to feel it, that strange weight in the air, like eyes watching from somewhere unseen. The atmosphere is heavy, unsettling, as though the hotel itself is alive and aware. Now imagine the cold gaze of a security camera fixed on one of the endless corridors. The grainy black and white footage captures more than just empty hallways, it captures a mood. Lights flicker, doors creak, and every corner looks like it could hide something just out of sight. The Cecil Hotel is not simply a structure of walls and windows, it's a labyrinth where every step echoes like a warning. And then we see her, a young woman in a red hoodie standing alone in the corridor. Elisa Lam. There's something fragile yet determined in her stance, as if she's both drawn to and repelled by the place around her. The hallway stretches endlessly behind her, shadows creeping like they're alive. It's almost cinematic, the kind of scene that grips your chest with an uneasy chill. The elevator waits nearby, its old metallic doors and dim fluorescent lights adding to the sense of dread. To most, it's just a machine that carries people up and down, but here it becomes something much more, a stage for one of the most disturbing pieces of footage ever recorded. As the doors groan open, you can almost feel the air grow heavier, and the sense that we're about to witness something that will leave more questions than answers. The Cecil Hotel is more than a setting, it's a character in this haunting mystery. Every shadowed corner, every flickering light, and every silent hallway seems to whisper of the tragedies it has consumed. And as Alyssa steps further into this building's story, so too do we step into a mystery that has haunted the world ever since. The elevator stands open, its metallic doors reflecting the dim glow of flickering lights. Elisa Lam steps inside, her red hoodie catching the lifeless glow of the fluorescent bulb above. To anyone else, this is just a routine moment in a hotel stay. But what we are about to witness through grainy CCTV footage is anything but routine. It is one of the most disturbing and puzzling recordings ever made. She begins pressing the buttons one after another, as though urgently trying to get somewhere or perhaps escape something. The camera captures every detail: the nervous motion of her hands, the strange hesitation in her movements, the way she repeatedly looks outside as if expecting someone or something to appear. The elevator doesn't move. Its doors refuse to close. It's as if the hotel itself is trapping her, forcing her to linger in this space caught between floors, between reality and something darker. As the seconds drag on, Alyssa leans out into the hallway. The air feels heavier, the corridor bathed in shadow. From the camera's angle, it looks empty, yet her behavior suggests otherwise. She hides, then steps out again, her body language a mixture of fear and curiosity. She moves her hands in peculiar gestures, almost as if she's speaking to an invisible presence or fighting something unseen. Every frame of this footage leaves the viewer unsettled, because while we see Alyssa, we do not see what she sees. The elevator doors open and close, slow and deliberate, like the breaths of some giant machine. At one moment, Alyssa presses her body flat against the wall, as if hiding from something lurking just beyond. At another, she steps into the hallway, looking around with frantic energy, yet nothing is there. The eerie silence of the footage, the absence of sound, makes her actions even more haunting. And then, she disappears. The last we see of Elisa Lam is her walking out of the elevator, turning left down the dimly lit corridor. The elevator doors shut as if sealing her fate, leaving behind only silence and mystery. But what makes this footage so deeply chilling is not only Alyssa's erratic movements, but the countless questions it raised. Was she being followed? Was she hiding from someone we couldn't see? Or was this something much more unexplainable, something paranormal, something that the cursed walls of the Sust Hotel have harbored for decades? Theories have swirled ever since. Some say she was suffering a breakdown, others claim she was playing a dangerous game, and some are convinced she was interacting with something not of this world. The distorted reflection in the elevator's mirror, the unnaturally still hallway, the elevator's unresponsive doors, it all adds fuel to the unsettling feeling that Elisa Lam was not alone in those final recorded moments. The elevator enigma remains one of the most haunting pieces of evidence in modern mystery, a window into the last known images of a young woman whose story only grows darker from here. The scene shifts from the dim hotel corridors to the rooftop of the Sust Hotel. Under the pale glow of the moon, the massive water tanks loom like silent guardians of a dreadful secret. Their rusted surfaces glisten faintly, the night air thick with an almost suffocating stillness. For days, Elisa Lam was missing, and the building itself seemed to swallow her story whole. It wasn't until the search led investigators here to this isolated rooftop that the chilling truth began to surface. Imagine the moment when police and maintenance workers reached the tanks. Flashlights cut through the darkness, beams bouncing against cold metal, illuminating the lid of one tank slightly ajar. The atmosphere was heavy, as though the rooftop itself carried the weight of tragedy. Inside one of those tanks, submerged in the very water that flowed through the taps of unsuspecting hotel guests, lay Elisa Lam. The discovery shocked not only the investigators on site but the entire world that would soon learn of it. Images of forensic teams surrounding the water tank spread quickly. Crime scene tape, flashing red and blue lights from police cars below, and the uneasy silence of onlookers painted the Sust Hotel as a place straight out of a nightmare. The media swarmed the building, reporters delivering updates with the looming shadow of the hotel behind them. To the public, the questions were overwhelming. How did Elisa end up in the tank? Why was the lid found open? And most importantly, how did no one notice until it was too late? As the news rippled across the globe, the theories began. Some leaned on science and fact, pointing to her mental health struggles, suggesting disorientation may have led her to the rooftop. Others insisted the hotel's dark reputation could not be ignored, whispering about supernatural forces at play. The elevator footage, her frantic gestures, the eerie way the elevator seemed to disobey logic, all became pieces of a puzzle that refused to fit. And yet, even with investigations, official reports, and endless speculation, the mystery only deepened. How could Elisa access a rooftop secured by locked doors and alarms? How could she climb into a heavy water tank alone? Why were there no witnesses? The lingering shadows of unanswered questions only tightened the grip of this story on the world's imagination. Over time, the Sust Hotel itself seemed to become a symbol of darkness, a place layered in tragedy where crime, despair, and mystery had intersected for decades. But Elisa Lam's story stood out above them all, haunting because it felt so personal, so raw, and so unexplainable. The images remained burned into memory, her ghostly reflection in the water, the silhouette of her spirit fading into the fog, the hotel dissolving into darkness as if swallowing her whole. Her story is not just one of loss but of questions that may never be answered. Questions that keep us looking back at that footage, that rooftop, and those haunting walls of the Sust Hotel. And so, the mystery of Elisa Lam lingers not just in the shadows of the hotel, but in the minds of everyone who dares to search for the truth.